And then this guy comes all the way across his row and punches him in the face in front of 2 police officers that are standing beside and behind him, with 6 officers standing in front of him. As soon as he gets punched, the police grab Rakeem and throw him on the ground, and start detaining him. And they tell the guy that punched him to go sit back in his seat. I was just in shock. And the thing is, I wasn't surprised about the hate. I wasn't actually in shock about the hate. I was surprised at the level of hate.
The Trump campaign and plenty of his followers would just as soon we not talk about this. They would rather we take this as nothing more than a rare occurrence and nothing to be concerned about. But let's be honest here. That time has now passed. The actions of a Trump supporter at one of the candidates' rallies, sucker punching a black protester and then being proud of it later, is just the latest warning sign of a campaign that foments and by association seems to approve of violence, and perhaps brings us one step closer to a truly serious incident. It's where we begin this edition of The Political Animal, in the hopes the animals themselves are not offended. We're joined first by the veteran political speechwriter and Democratic strategist from Catamount Strategies, LLC, Christian Hanley, and staff writer at the Federalist, who makes politics her passion, Bre Payton. I want to thank you both for joining us. The incident that we just saw a few moments ago, that's what we're going to begin with right here. Because not just the incident itself has people upset. There's a lot of issues going on there. But I think this is the thing that has people very upset. After assaulting the Trump protester at that event, 78-year-old John McGraw was interviewed by Inside Edition about what he did, and here's exactly what he said.
Did you like the event?
You bet I liked it.
Yeah? What'd you like about it?
Knocking hell out of that big mouth. We don't know who he is, but we know he's not acting like an American.
So he deserved it?
Every bit of it.
What was that?
Yes, he deserved it. The next time we see him, we might have to kill him.
Let's take a breath here for just a moment here. We might have to kill him. Bre, look, let's be honest. Donald Trump cannot single-handedly figure and decide who comes into his events. He is not responsible for people who want to walk into a building. We want to make that very clear. But we have seen too much happen here. We have heard Donald Trump, instead, his own mouth say, I'll pay for the legal fees if you knock the crap out of somebody. He's talked about taking somebody out of an event on a stretcher. This is the stuff that is not presidential. People who are Republicans, Democrats, whatever, they look at this and say, this is not the party of our forefathers. This is not what Ronald Reagan and conservatism would have wanted here. But this is not what society wants a president to be. Bre, your take.
Exactly. As you said, this is not behavior that's presidential material. It's also not the behavior of an American. The entire basis of our country and the freedoms and everything that we get to enjoy and have is that we have the freedom of assembly and the freedom of speech and the freedom of religion and the freedom of thought, right? And I think what Donald Trump is saying and his actions condoning the violent behavior at his rallies really threatens those freedoms and privileges that we get to enjoy as Americans. And I think turning a blind eye to it, or, saying that maybe it didn't happen or that maybe he deserved it, is really alarming. And I think also we should be talking about the element of racism involved with a lot of these incidents.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there for one second because you hit something right where we've got to go. We've got short time here. Now, a Trump protester, the gentleman who took that tape, Ronnie Rouse, or took a video of that, he was being escorted out of the building and a chant could be heard from the crowd behind him. Here's what we got. Christian, the word we bleeped out of there was, of course, the N-word. Look, either side, Democrat or Republican. Does a candidate not have the responsibility to put the hammer down on these events? Hard, without question, without excuse. You have to come right out. Your silence condones that, but you've got to come right out. Left or right, no matter what, you've got to put this down.
Exactly. I don't think there's any left-right question here. I mean, in 2008, when John McCain had a supporter making outrageous comments about then-candidate Barack Obama, and the fact that he was a closeted Arab and Muslim. I mean, John McCain didn't say that this person is speaking vicariously for me or my campaign, but he very quickly silenced that person and set the record straight. I see no harm in Donald Trump doing that right now, and that's in fact what he should be doing. I don't see it as being a left or right issue. There's certainly some serious race issues involved here, but the problem is he's stoking this anger at all of these rallies and then afterwards taking no responsibility for it.
Do you believe he stokes it by not coming out and making that definitive statement?
I think he stokes it beforehand and then afterwards tacitly accepts the behavior by being silent.
Bre, is it not fair to say, and again, we've got to cut the difference here. We're not trying to hammer away at Donald Trump. We're talking about this being in general, in American politics and American society. Is it not fair to say that left or right, you've got to shut this down? And if you don't shut it down, then you are seen as condoning it. That's the bigger problem. Be big. Be the president. Be somebody who has conservative values and American values and knock this down.
You're exactly right. We can't tolerate this kind of behavior at all. And I think it really is alarming just how much of a racial or racist, rather, component there is to a lot of these violent altercations. And I think it is alarming how slow Donald Trump, or, not really, how slow he is to shut these things down, right? Like a couple weeks ago, Daniel Duke came out and said that Donald Trump, thank you. He came out and said that endorsed Trump, and Trump took a very long time to be able to say, oh, I don't think I really want to be associated with the KKK, right? Like that sort of response is unacceptable. He should have been called out more for his hesitance that he displayed back then.
Kristen, I'm just out of time. I only have 10 seconds left. Kristen, is it not fair to say that the Democrats are going to use this against Donald Trump if he becomes the nominee?
I mean, I think that they will, and rightfully so.
And that's something else. If you're going to get ready, Bre, you believe that as well?
Yeah, they should. Absolutely. This is absolutely wrong what he's doing by not condemning these actions. And I think the Democrats should go after him. And
condemning them immediately. Bre Payton, Christian Hanley, thanks for joining us. Don't forget, join us Saturday morning right here on Newsmax, Battleground, Florida. Live from Miami, we'll talk to the candidates and you.